Hello.
We're back. Hi, Wildflowers. I'm Judy.
Hi, Wildflowers. We're
Yes.
the Wildflowers.
They can be
And I'm
Wildflowers.
Wildflowers too.
Oh, they watch us.
And we have a wildflower in our audience
We
today.
do.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, guys. And this is Peggy.
I am.
Yes, you are. It's
who
been
I
a
am.
while. It's been a while.
It has been. It's nice to be back.
Where were you, Miss Judy?
I was in Ireland, in Northern Ireland, and we had a great trip. We were there for a while, and we were celebrating my father-in-law's soon-to-be 90th birthday.
That's really. I saw
Yes.
some of the pictures you posted.
I know. I
they're
don't usually
beautiful.
post, but they were so pretty.
Yeah,
That's
I like the
interesting.
picture of the entrance to the Blarney Stone, like that hallway.
The
Is that
wishing
Willow?
steps. That's
Yes.
Willow down
It was all silhouetted. I said that looks like Willow.
You were so right.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah. It was. But we all did it. We all
Yeah.
did it. And then I actually had a video. Niall videoed me, which was really funny. I wasn't gonna post that on.
Because you have to like hang upside down, right?
Oh yes,
Oh,
yeah. Well,
okay.
that's separate. The wishing steps are separate. They're on the grounds. The grounds of Blarney Castle are beautiful and
Yeah.
vast, and you would love it. And they have a whole
We gotta
poison
go.
garden
Yeah.
too. But to get to the Blarney Stone, you have to go inside the castle and all the way up to the top.
Oh.
And you're on the roof.
I used to smoke.
Yeah, and then you have to lean back, and there's a gap probably about this big, and you have to lean backwards. So you're here is the end of the castle. Then the stone is here.
So like
between
you're
the gap.
leaning back outside, the stone is
Yes, and you have
outside.
to lean back. I should have brought the pictures. I mean, I went to do it. Yeah, so I did this in the 90s, so this is my second time doing it.
How different was it compared to the 90s?
There was a long line to
really?
wait this time. Yeah.
No, but physically, was it harder for you? I mean, you're still relatively young.
And they have men there to like hold
Yeah.
and make sure you don't
Oh,
slip
thank
into
goodness.
Yeah, like my mom wouldn't do it when she went. She goes, I'm not leaning back. She didn't do it. She went up there, but she didn't
Wow.
lean over.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, it was fun. You should go.
I'm so glad that you had that opportunity to go and that you're back. And
I had a great time. I love seeing my family over there. They're awesome. And,
Yeah.
So every time it's a new adventure.
Wow, so
Yeah.
it's been a while though since we've done a podcast. What about 3 weeks? Has it
Because
been?
of me.
Because of her.
Because of her.
Sorry.
World traveler.
Yes, no. It's going to be a little different today because
Yes.
normally one of us does the wine, one of us does the book, and one of us does the topic. But because of our last 2 podcasts, because it was the book discussion group, and it was just chaos. The last one was just chaos. It was just too noisy. But the subject was very interesting, but it was all different. So this time it's going to be where Peggy's going to do both the wine and the topic, and you'll understand why after.
That's right.
But and then I will do the book.
Yeah.
But real quick, in today's paper, just real quick, did you know that there's a new bookstore that's opening in Brooklyn?
No.
It's just for romance novels.
Oh, yes, I did read about that. The
It's
ripped
called
bodice.
The Ripped Bodice.
Last week that was in the paper.
But it was
luck.
on today's
Oh, no, it was on shelf awareness, I think.
Yes. But I found that so funny because when we had the bookstore, romance did not sell.
No, not in our particular demographic. It didn't.
Right.
But in the store where we used to work all together, we sold a lot.
We had a lot of romance. Most of the romance that we sold was the Outlander.
Yeah.
You know, so,
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one of the things they said in here is even when I go to my local Barnes & Noble, the romance section is a corner kind of hidden with the manga in the plastic bags. There's just that level of like, oh, it feels shady to buy it when it really is not. So I just found that so interesting that there's a whole bookstore dedicated to romance. And it's the second one that they had because they have one in California.
Yes. I remember reading about that. And also, when we owned the bookstore, I remember finding out at one of the book conferences that romance actually nationwide outsells every other genre combined.
Wow.
And we said, how come nobody buys it in Rockville Center?
I can believe that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
I definitely can. Do you remember, fun fact, when we started the book discussion group initially.
Oh,
Oh, the first
The
book.
first book that came out of the hat was a
Asheron.
romance novel.
It was a terrible one too.
yeah, it was bad.
I loved in a way that we had
Yeah.
to do it because it showed
Yeah.
our commitment to
Yes.
how we're going to do it.
Well, Outlander, when we all worked for Borders,
Yeah.
was shelved in the romance section.
Yes.
It was not in science fiction
No,
or
it wasn't.
fantasy. It was
Well,
in romance.
One of my favorite
You know,
series
yeah.
to this
I
Yeah.
give them credit for opening a bookstore, and I said, hooray, that's
So
awesome.
we have a more diverse demographic in Brooklyn than we do on
Yeah.
Long Island too.
Very
so,
true, very
you know.
true.
Good. So
Well,
anyway,
well, I'm parched.
you are. Have a sip of water.
I don't know. All right, I'll take some water while you're doing that.
So, well, somebody want
I
to
will
pour
pour.
while I talk about it?
It's for Jim.
All right, so the name of this one is The Federalist. And as you can see, there's a picture of Benjamin Franklin here on the label.
I'm gonna bring this.
And
for you.
it's a Cabernet Sauvignon.
Let me just pour.
Okay.
And I paid, this is from California, Lodi, California.
Lacey, you want to get in?
There's a song. Oh Lord, I'm back in Lodi again. What? Who was that?
Oh,
I think you need to sing a little more so I can figure it out.
I don't know, I
Okay.
recognize it.
All right, so I'm
All right, so
Yes,
anyway,
yes.
I'll be right
it
back.
has a we'll wait until Judy comes back.
No, you can
Okay.
go. Hi, everyone.
So it has aromas of blue and black fruits, which is blueberry and blackberry.
Ooh, I like those two fruits.
Cinnamon spice. It
Okay.
has a good density, firm tannin structure, and a long, smooth finish. So I looked up what does firm tannin structure mean.
A lot of nice words.
You know, yes, I know. So tannins, let's see, it says here, firm, solid, bold tannic structure leaves a dry feeling in the back of your tongue, and dry tannins are bitter. Oh, okay, and tannins are bitter. Because I didn't know the difference between acidity and tannins.
Oh.
Acid you feel on the sides of your tongue, tannins on the back, and acid is sour and tannins are bitter.
This smells very
So-
acidic to me, though. One
No,
thing
this is mostly the tannins and tannins, the reason you want them in wine is that it offsets the fruity sweetness and the heat of the alcohol.
Ooh. Okay.
Now,
Well, should we raise our glass to our audience
Ooh,
member?
this has nice
To Jerry.
legs.
Sure, I was gonna say it sure does. Hi, Jerry. Cheers to you. It does have very nice leg, and I taught
yeah.
my family in Ireland about doing
The
this.
legs?
Wow.
And try to guess, and I guessed it correct.
You did?
Based on the legs. I said, so I'm learning.
That's impressive.
So, what do we say the alcohol content is this based on the
Oh,
legs?
I didn't even look. I'm gonna say
I think,
it's 13 and a half.
yeah, I was gonna say
It might even
13.
be 14.
I was gonna say 13.
All right, just
These
to-
are really,
you know
they're
what?
still hanging.
Yes, I
Just to
know.
be different, I'm gonna say 14 because.
Yeah, say 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really
Yeah,
are
it's the
lasting.
legs.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Okay,
legs.
you want me to look?
Yeah, what's the alcohol?
It says
We need glasses.
13.9.
Oh,
Very
so
close.
Very close.
Wow.
Okay, well now taste it.
It's very good.
Then you have teeny bits.
Jerry's taking care of my 3 dogs right now. They're giving her a hard time. Well, Lacey is. What?
This doesn't taste the way I thought it would
In
based
what
on the
way?
smell. I thought it was very acidic because the smell is very
It's actually very smooth.
it's very smooth. Yeah.
I could drink this.
Good.
Yes, this is.
And how
yeah,
much
you
was
like it?
how much did you pay for this?
How much would you pay for
Well, I know how much it
You
would
know?
pay.
Oh, okay.
I knew.
All right,
okay.
I'm going to say it's $14.95.
Okay, it was $12.99 in
Oh.
Total Wine, so maybe it is 14
Wait a
somewhere
minute.
else.
No, at the store that I saw it was $22.99.
They're ripping you off. Go to Total
I didn't
Wine.
buy it. I didn't buy it. Wow.
Yeah.
You should order wine from Total Wine. I'm telling you, you save a lot of money.
No, she's got.
But
Let me see. Unless
but
I
you
looked at
didn't.
the wrong
Did you get
label.
the bourbon barrel one?
Maybe that's what
But that
the
has
label
a
was
different
different.
label. That
Yeah,
has
that
a
had
different.
a different label.
Yeah, but it didn't
Here, let
have
me
the
look.
American flag one.
Yeah, this one had the
Because the
American.
bourbon barrel one was $16.99, I think.
Yeah.
Let me see if it says bourbon
I
barrel.
don't know.
No, this is it.
Unless I
Wow.
looked at the wrong label, maybe I'll give
Yeah.
them credit because that seems like a big difference.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
I won't need to say the store.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, the Federalist Cabernet. How many Wildflowers?
Oh. All right. Out of 5, I would give it 4.5 at least. I mean, I know I gave
I give it a 4.
Yeah, me too. I'm around
Really?
3.754.
Yeah.
Now, why? Is it because?
Did you taste it?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
I don't like the smell.
You
The
didn't
smell
like the
threw
smell?
me off. That's what it is. I didn't like the smell, and
Well, my
it's
nose is so congested I can't smell it.
and it's. I mean, it's smooth, but it's not. It doesn't have the long finish like it promised.
I can still taste it.
It is a strong smell.
Oh, is it?
Right.
Oh, okay. So Jerry's
Yeah.
got the strong smell. Maybe it's my dog's smell.
I don't know about that.
A long finish means after you swallow, you're still tasting it, and I can't.
Yeah.
See, I wish that worked for me all the time because I keep tasting it again and again.
I know,
and again.
just to make sure, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Alrighty.
Well, there's a reason that you did this
Yes,
one,
there
but we'll,
is.
we'll explain it
All right.
after I do the book, or do you want to
Oh, no, go right ahead and do the book. I
Yeah,
forgot
do the
about the book. I forgot about the book.
She forgot about the book. Okay, all right. So, all right. Well, I'm going to talk about this real quick. Jennifer Weiner, The Breakaway. Peggy and I are hosting her at Malloy University on August 29th. And her books just arrived last night. Boxes and boxes of books that we're going to be selling. And so Brenda Janowitz is going to be interviewing her for
Yes.
that. So that's at Malloy University in Rockville Center.
Did Brenda's books come too?
I
'Cause
believe they
ordered
did.
some of
I
them
believe
also.
they did. Okay, so the book that I'm going to talk about today is Spike Unleashed, The Wonder Dog Returns. And this is by Bill Boggs. And we're going to actually be hosting him in October for an event, and I'll be interviewing him. And this is at Malloy University. And Bill Boggs used to be on
Midday Live?
Midday Live on Fox TV, not the other Fox, but the local Fox. And he is such a good writer. I was hysterical laughing out loud because Spike the Wonder Dog it's narrated by the dog. The dog is sarcastic. The dog sees people in this light that's just too funny. He talks about a lot of different real people in the book. Like he talks about Prince Harry, Steve Allen, Andy Cohen, George Clooney, and all these names and stuff. And he goes into the media world and all the trouble that he gets in, and he just some wink comments in it
Okay.
because he says, I know Bill's telling you the story, but it's my story,
Yeah.
basically. So I highly recommend it. And I am looking forward to interviewing him because I have so many books to read because we're going to do the literary team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be interviewing all of them. But he has so many nice words of praise from so many different people. Let me see who. Lucy Arnaz, she's in this book. Her mom was Lucille
Lucille
Ball.
Ball, yeah.
Right, and so she was one of the first things that attracted me to Bill Boggs decades ago was his incredible wit and his enchanted sense of play. Now he's found a way for his alter ego, Spike, to allow the Boggs sensibility to continue to flourish. It's great fun spending time with the two of them. And he's got Joe Piscopo giving words of praise, a lot of these names, and Alan Zweibel, who we've done events with, Bob Costas. So he gave a lot of nice,
Yeah.
positive reviews.
And when is the date of the event that you're
the event is October 12th.
12th. Okay.
Is it the 12th?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember because we have so
Yeah.
many. Oh yeah, because the
That's
13th.
Yeah, it's the 13th.
Yes, because the 13th we're hosting Nelson DeMille,
Right.
and I'll be interviewing him and his
Yeah.
son for that one. So, hi! But yeah, so it's Spike Unleashed, The Wonder Dog Returns. Highly recommend it if you want a fun read, and if you look. And I forgot to mention, a portion of the sales go to Animal Dog Rescue.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
that's
So-
good.
so-
Thank you very
Any
much.
particular organization or?
He doesn't mention
Okay,
which one.
okay.
But I'm going to invite Heidi to come to this and
Oh,
see,
cool, yeah.
see if
That's
we
nice.
can do. Heidi is the
Yeah.
president of Yorkie 911 Rescue.
Yeah, we could come.
She's
for-
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Yes.
Yes.
High five. You're thinking. Okay, very good. good. So I know we've got a lot to discuss, so I just wanted to share
This
that.
is going to be a big topic for Peggy.
Yes.
You've been waiting for this one.
Oh, okay. So my topic for today is going to be about Benjamin Franklin. And I know it is funny, but I'm going to tell you something. I've always been obsessed with Benjamin Franklin since I'm a little kid.
Wait, obsessed? I didn't have a crush on him.
Well, no, not really, but I think that if I lived in that time, I would have a crush on him. And then I found out, but when I was, doing some research, that he was quite a looker when he was a young man. He exercised every day, even when he was older. He did weightlifting, and he was also a champion swimmer. He had, like they said, he had
so not where I thought this was going.
Photography hadn't been invented at that time, but based on portraits of him when he was older, like they figured he had a very nice physique. He was barrel chested. He was almost 6 feet tall. I always thought he was little.
Well, anybody that impersonates him, we've seen people impersonate
That
him.
they usually little.
Yeah.
He wasn't little. One place said he was around 6 foot, and then another place I read, they said he was probably 5'10" or 5'11". But I always pictured him about 5'6" or 5'7".
Yeah, me too.
So, yeah.
Wow. You've already educated me on
You're
that.
blushing.
Because you guys are making fun of me.
No,
You guys
I
hate
think
him.
it's
No, not making fun. I just think it's hysterical. Oh, speaking of hysteria, Peggy and I are going to be going to England, and this is what Peggy's looking forward to doing.
I'm looking forward to doing a lot of things.
Yeah, but this is the one thing she said to me. She goes, I want to go to an English pub and play darts.
Yeah,
I'm a terrible dart player.
But I'm like, I have a dartboard downstairs.
No, I know. I have one out in the yard, and maybe I'll
I get
practice.
that. That's good
No,
for you.
I just thought that's such an English thing to do. We'll
No,
go. And
I just found it very, very funny. Of all the things that we were doing, this is what.
That's fun. That would be something I'd like to do.
well, anyway, Benjamin Franklin actually
Yeah.
spent a lot of time in England. He loved
Good
England.
segue.
And that's why in the beginning of the revolutionary time, he was one of the last people to sign off on it because he wanted to diplomatically repair the relationship and keep the empire. But as time went on, he finally said, okay, we can't do this, let's just have a war, pretty much.
He wanted diplomatic kintsugi.
Yes, well, he was.
I'll tell you about that another time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was a diplomat. He's the one who got France to give us, to support us in the war, and they gave us a lot of money to beat the British because the French didn't like the British either. But anyway, I'll just do some bullet points because I could go on and on about my man.
Apparently.
So he was married too.
Peggy, Peggy
I didn't know he was
Franklin.
married.
Yes, he was married. He spent a lot of time away from home because he was always either in France or England.
Okay.
But he did, and he had
What was her
2
name?
children. Her name was...
She blocked it out.
Yeah, right.
She doesn't count.
You don't have. I just thought you might have.
No, I do. I think it was...
I just haven't heard of
It was
her.
some weird name. I'll come across it. Look at all the notes I have. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
Are you kidding me? And then all of this too. I have a lot of notes.
All right, so give us the important things that we need to know. That
Oh,
most
okay,
people don't know.
okay. All right, so this was something that I didn't know about him. He had only 2 years of formal education.
Oh, wow.
He was a brilliant man.
Wow.
Before joining his family's soap and candle making business, he worked for his father. At the age of 12, he was serving as an indentured servant to his brother, his older brother James, I think his name was. Whatever, yeah, James. And he spent what money he made on books and often going without food so that he could buy books. And that's how he
Oh, I
educated
love
himself.
him.
He was self-educated.
He was autodidactic.
Oh, is that what? Autodidactic, self-taught.
I know
Okay,
that you like words.
I
There
do.
you go. Yes.
I have a good one for the next podcast.
Okay.
Okay. He was self-taught. He helped found the school that became the University of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay.
He received honorary degrees from Harvard, Yale, William and Mary, and the University of St. Andrews and Oxford.
Wow.
Okay. He became a hit writer as a teenager.
He became a what?
A hit writer. He was very, very popular. He used to write as, what was the name of it? Silence Dogood. And he, for a newspaper, a little
Yeah.
local newspaper that was actually owned by his brother. He did it anonymously, and he used to write in like all household hints and
Oh my
things for
God.
the ladies. So,
For the ladies. Oh, that's.
at 16, he began secretly submitting essays and commentary as Silence Dogood, a fictitious widow who offered homespun musings on everything from fashion and marriage to women's rights and religion. It was his brother's paper, the New England Courant, in the 1720s. His letters were highly popular, and after 14 essays, he revealed it was him. His brother resented it. He wasn't happy. And the next year, Benjamin fled to Philadelphia because he couldn't work for his brother anymore. His brother was very, very abusive.
Wow.
And he couldn't take the beatings
Was
or
he how
anything
much
anymore.
older? Do you know that he?
I don't know, but he was 12 and his brother had this newspaper, so probably, quite
Did
a,
he have other
a
siblings
age.
in between?
He
You know?
did. There was like 16 of them
Oh
or
my
something.
God.
Yeah, he was
Wow.
on the younger half of the family.
Wow.
So he spent half of his life retired.
No.
He spent half of it?
Half of his life retired. He retired when he was 42 years old.
Oh my
Did
God.
he have children?
Yes, he did have children.
He did, okay.
Yeah. He was 42 years old when he retired because he could retire because of his writings. He got paid for it.
Oh.
And also he invested in properties. So he became very wealthy on his own. This kid who had nothing.
Right.
And he retired, and that's what gave him the time to, get involved in local politics and all his inventions, like all of his interest. His pursuit about electricity, and he came up with the bifocals. That was his invention.
That's right.
He got
Okay.
tired of switching his glasses. He had 2 pairs, so he took them apart and he glued the bottoms and the tops together, and that was the first pair of
It's just
bifocals.
amazing.
He was really. You're gonna fall in love with him now too, I think, Carol.
Are we gonna compete? Are we gonna compete for his attention?
He invented an instrument used by Mozart and Beethoven, the glass harmonica. And what it was, all these glasses put together,
Yeah.
banded together, and with a wet finger, you know how you can make glass.
With the wine glass.
It became it's a real instrument.
Yeah.
And
Right,
he's
yes.
the one who invented that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to ask you, like some of the other inventions that we're
Yeah.
not familiar with
Yeah.
that he did.
And he said that invention gave him the greatest personal satisfaction because he used to play it too. He played the guitar, he played the glass harmonica, he played the violin.
Oh my
He
gosh.
played like 4 or 5 different instruments.
That's pretty
So-
wild.
Okay, this is what I was talking about before. He was a reluctant revolutionary. He was the last founding father to come out in favor of full separation from Britain. He pushed for peaceful compromises and the preservation of the empire. He wrote, "Every encroachment on rights is not worth a rebellion." I wish I could read my own handwriting.
Do you want to read yours?
No. He was against the Boston Tea Party. He thought it was an act of violent injustice on our part, and he wanted the East India Tea Company to be reimbursed. They had to be compensated according to him. 5 years later, he soured on the monarchy, and that's when, he really got into it. So
Oh, wow.
he created a phonetic alphabet, but he scrapped the project. He cut out the letters C, J, Q, W, X, and Y. He said that they were redundant.
Oh, my gosh.
But he just scrapped it. So
Oh, my gosh.
okay, so now this is one of his sons was illegitimate son.
Okay.
But his name was William, and he was very, very close to William. They had a very close relationship. Then he had a daughter and a son from his wife.
Okay, so
His
the
son from the
illegitimate
wife.
son was first.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he was
So he
first or not.
basically had an affair, is what you're saying?
Yeah, either that or a prostitute. I don't know. Like the mother didn't seem to be involved at all,
Okay.
so it could have
Okay.
just been.
All right.
All right.
I don't know.
Okay.
But from his wife, he had a son who died of diphtheria or something when he was like 6 years old. And then he had a daughter who lived, and she had children of her own and gave him grandchildren. But anyway, his son William, he was the royal governor of New Jersey, and he was a British loyalist. He was illegitimate. They were once close friends and partners. Actually, William helped him with the whole kite experiment. So,
Okay.
and they fell out over the revolution. And actually, he didn't. I read this somewhere else once about him that his son ended up in prison for being a British loyalist during the revolution,
okay.
and Benjamin Franklin did not step in
Oh,
to
really?
save him or to help him out because he never forgave him for his whole life. He never forgave his son William for that. He was also a fashion icon in France. So the French thought that like the whole American way of dressing, like the rugged
Yes.
frontiersman.
Yeah.
So when he was in Paris, he always wore like the fur hats pulled down, and he dressed it in that frontiersman kind of
Right, right.
stuff. And they started copying him. Like everybody started wearing fur hats. Americans, as rustic frontiermen. So he also in France, he wore the fur hat for some treaty, during the treaty with Britain, I think. And then he wore the white hat. He also when he got rid of the fur hat, he started wearing this white hat, and then everybody in Paris started wearing white hats like him. They loved him in France. And when he signed the treaty between France and the United States in 1778.
Okay.
So, let's see. He spent his later years as an abolitionist. He owned 2 slaves during his life.
That's what I was
Both,
going to ask you.
yeah, both worked as household servants. In his old age, he came to see that slavery was an evil, and it was an evil institution that ran counter to the principles of the Revolution. When he also became president of the Pennsylvania Abolitionist Society in 1787 to 1790. He presented a petition to Congress urging them to grant liberty to those unhappy men who alone in this land of freedom are degraded into perpetual bondage.
Well, let me just interrupt you for a minute. Do you think our students in school will learn anything about that now? Because of DeSantis and revising? I just feel like that's something I never knew.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important to know because, you hear like, oh, well, George Washington had slaves. Oh, he had slaves. And it's like almost like justifying it.
Yeah, I know.
But the fact that I think he would probably be horrified to see where we are. But
Yeah. I'm sure so would, this day and age, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, like they all, Thomas Jefferson had a lot of slaves. He had a baby with one of his slaves. But,
right.
but anyway, Congress ignored it. Surprise!
Yeah, really.
So he kept up the fight until his death a few months later. He included a provision in his will that it told his daughter and son-in-law to free their slaves in order to get their inheritance.
Wow, good for him.
Oh, I like
And
that.
did they do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure they
Yes,
did, 'cause
I'm
he
sure
had
they wanted it.
good money.
And then he left a big gift to Boston and Philadelphia. He was born in Boston, but then he ran away and went to Philly, and Philly became his adopted home. He loved Philadelphia. So in his will, he left a gift to them, and it was. They still use the money, actually. It's a trust. He willed £2,000 to his birthplace, Boston, and adopted home, Philly. The caveat was that for the first, I can't read my own handwriting, I swear to God. For the first years, I don't know how many years it was, the money would be placed in a trust and only used to provide loans to local tradesmen. A portion could be spent, but the rest would remain off limits for another 100 years.
Wow.
In which they could spend it as they saw fit. By 1990, Boston had 4.5 million, Philly had 2 million. And so they still use it. They use it to finance the Franklin Institute and the Franklin Institute of Technology. So.
Did we go there when we were in Philadelphia?
No, I don't think we
I don't
did.
think we did,
No. So we're gonna have to go back because
Yeah.
that's when I was reading. I said I want to go there. So, okay, he was a member of the International Swimming Hall of Fame. He was a lifelong swimmer.
Well, he had that nice physique. You know?
He started the first volunteer fire department, I think in Pennsylvania or Philadelphia. I don't know if it was the whole country. And he was the first Postmaster General of the United States.
Oh, okay.
He started like libraries. It's in here somewhere, but I'm not gonna go fishing around to.
But I had no idea, so, I mean,
He had his hands in a lot of different
Yeah.
areas, like
Yeah.
things that you
Like-
need based on society, like the fire department, the post office,
Right.
small businesses, just trying to keep a community going.
the way that he educated himself,
I know,
though,
it's
is just
amazing.
because he was curious. I feel like
I
a lot
know.
of times people just aren't curious.
Yeah, you got
Yes, you
curious
have to
and
be
he was
curious.
smart.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
those two together
Yeah, it helps.
equal Ben Franklin.
All right. Enough of your boyfriend.
Okay.
No.
He invented a pair of swim fins for hands at age 11. And he went and used them in the river. He used to go swimming in
Can you
the
imagine
river.
how he felt? Like, look what I did.
Uh-huh.
Like,
This
this is pretty awesome.
Very good.
Yeah. He
problem.
wrote under several pseudonyms, silenced
Oh,
through
really?
good. Polly Baker and Richard Saunders was Poor Richard's almanac. That was him
okay.
too.
All right.
Okay, he is credited with discovering the Gulf Stream. Mhm.
Okay.
He had 3 grandchildren and 3 children and 8 grandchildren. Oh, and the thing about his son William was like after the revolution was over, and his son had moved to England. His son wrote him a letter. Oh, I have it somewhere, and it was kind of heart wrenching that his son wanted to get their relationship back.
And Benjamin didn't want to do it. He
no.
should have come to our.
Forgiveness. I
Yes,
know.
forgiveness.
His flaw.
I know.
Is it
He
his law? Yeah.
couldn't forgive him.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
even back then, people had their political
Yeah.
divides.
Yeah.
Yes, they
dividing
did.
families.
I wish I could find it because they actually have the letter somewhere. I think in the Franklin Institute.
That is sad. I don't
Yeah.
think that's probably.
And he helped to found the first hospital in the colonies too. Pennsylvania
okay.
Hospital still operates today in Philadelphia.
Oh, wow.
And then there's a lot of misquotes. Everybody says that he said all these things. Like a penny saved is a
Right.
penny earned. He didn't say it.
Oh, really?
No, he didn't say that. He said a penny saved is 2 pence clear.
Oh, okay.
And God made beer because he loves us and wants us to be happy. You see that quote all over the place.
I've never seen that quote.
I've heard that.
Oh, it's
I've
on
heard that, yeah.
T-shirts,
Really?
it's on
I've
posters.
never seen that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
He said, behold the rain which descends from heaven upon our vineyards. There it enters the roots of the vines to be changed into wine, a constant proof that God loves us and loves to see us happy.
They just
Really,
put a
really
modern
happy.
spin
Yeah.
on it, is
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Sentiment.
lighthouses are more useful than churches. He didn't say
I've
that
heard,
either.
I've
Yeah.
heard that one.
Yeah. So
Huh. Interesting. So you've always been intrigued by Benjamin Franklin.
yeah, I don't know why. I just think because he was so smart. I've always been intrigued
But let
by
me
smart
ask you
people.
this, because we did another event with Mary Calvi for her book, and it was about
Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, well, his first wife, Alice.
Right.
And the research
Well,
that
it
she
wasn't
did.
his wife.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought, because I said I know that his first wife's name was Alice,
Yeah.
but she made it sound like no.
No.
Let's see what happens.
Well,
I guess.
no,
Okay.
yeah, not
Okay.
give anything
Okay.
away, but
Okay.
yeah. But she did a lot of research about the woman,
Right.
and I think you need to find out about.
You know what I have?
Yes.
There isn't much on her that
Well-
much I know. Well, we could ask Mary
I don't think
Calvi.
there's always a woman be like I did a book group thing here about Einstein's wife. Remember
Yes,
the other
I
Einstein?
remember that was a good book. I read
It was,
that,
and
yeah.
so like it's kind of like who's the woman behind
Behind
the
the
man?
man.
And I wonder now he seems like he was on his way anyways, but I'm
Right.
wondering if his wife was a counterpart intellectually
Right.
or curiosity wise to
Mhm.
him. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to write a book about her.
Yeah, I know that. I can't remember her name for the life of me. But anyway, I'm gonna look it up again when I go home.
Because you're too
And, yeah.
involved emotionally
Yeah,
with him.
yeah.
It's like
I know that his parents,
Ah.
his father was born in England, but his mother was born in the colonies. So she must have her family must have come over with the Mayflower, because Benjamin Franklin was born in like 1709 or something,
wow,
yeah.
okay.
So,
Interesting. No,
Yeah, Abner. Oh, Deborah Reed. He's buried next to her, actually, in
that's not a weird
Philadelphia.
name. That's not a weird
Yeah, that's
name.
not a weird.
No, I'm thinking of his mother's. No, I'm jealous. No, I'm thinking of his mother's name. Look up his mother's name. That was like A's. It was a weird last name.
Abaya Folger.
Yeah,
So she
Abaya
had cold coffee, Folger coffee. Abaya Folger.
I'll buy
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway.
Good topic.
Yeah, I know.
We got done in record
Yes, we
time.
did.
Yes, we
Yay.
did.
I know I rushed through the book discussion, or not discussion, but just,
Okay,
Um,
but anyway, there's plenty more if you go on the history.com, or the Franklin Institute has a really great, website, and everything that you ever didn't want to know about Benjamin Franklin is on there. So
and so our next podcast, again, it's going to be a little different. You're going to do the wine and the book,
I am.
and I'm going to do the topic, and the topic is endangered animals.
Excellent. Okay.
Oh,
Talking
okay.
Endangered animals. So,
Okay, that's gonna be
so
sad.
thank you for. I know it is very sad, but
We'll have wine to get through it.
Yeah.
well, thank you for watching, and
Bye,
thank
everybody.
you for Jerry being in the audience.
Thank you.
And our dogs behaving this time, because I say our dogs like they're yours.
Well, Sherlock is my boyfriend.
Yes. So you tell
Sherlock
it.
loved it.
Bye, everybody. See you
Bye.
next time. Yay. Are we still
Louis
on?
had a nice rest.